Hello everybody. Today we're going to go deeper on the side of consonants. We have already discussed the idea of vowels, so today we are going to start working with consonants and the way in which they articulate. Okay, let's start. The presentation is centered in three main aspects. We're going to see the articulation of consonants, that is to say, we're going to see which are the organs that are involved in the production of consonants. We're going to see that the place of articulation, that is, in which part of the mouth the consonant is articulated, in which part of the mouth, it's important to know because there are different places and they are named and they are called in different ways. And then we're going to see the manner of articulation, and that is the way how the consonants are produced, and they also have different definitions and characteristics. Okay, so let's go on. We have already talked about how our vocal cords work. The vibration is very important and the absence of movement is important too. The vibration and the absence of vibration. We already discussed the condition of vowels as being always voice. And when we talk about articulation of consonants, let's mark it, we have to remember all the articulators we have already seen in previous classes. We describe consonants, and this is very important for you to take that note. We describe consonants by their voicing. We're going to see what it is. By their place of articulation and the manner of articulation. Okay? In order to produce consonants, we need obstruction. So with vowels, there is no obstruction. That's why vowels are always voiced. But with consonants, in order to produce consonants, we need obstruction with any of the articulators we have already mentioned in previous classes. And that obstruction should be in a particular way and in a particular place. Okay? But part of that obstruction is related to voicing. This obstruction will produce more or less air going out, and the vocal cords would or would not vibrate. So that's why consonants can be voiced or voiceless or unvoiced. So let's paraphrase what I'm saying. If a consonant is voiceless, that means that there is no vibration of the vocal cords required to produce. For example, so have no vibration, for example, as the consonant P. 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 So there is a lot of air going out, the obstruction is not so hard. Then we're going to see where and in which way it is produced, but the air can go out freely. So P, P, no vibration. If you touch your throat, you will see there is no vibration of the vocal cords. On the contrary, voiced consonants require a vibration of the vocal cords. Okay? The vibration is required. So for example, in a vowel as B, 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 the air going out is less than the one that goes out with P. And apart from that, if you touch your throat, you will realize that the vibration is there. So the thing is that voiceless, unvoiced, or unvoiced, those characteristics are applied to all the consonants. Okay, so they are connected to the amount of air that goes out through that obstruction. Sometimes the obstructions are the lips. Sometimes the obstructions are the tongue and the movement to the hard palate, to the roof of the mouth. Sometimes it's back. Now you will see. But as the relative force, there is a force involved in producing, for example, P. And that force is greater than when you produce V. You called also forties to all those consonants in which the air goes out strong, when the force is a lot and the air goes out in a strong way. And you call linis to those vowels that are weak, that is to say, there is less air going out when you produce, for example, B. So voiceless consonants are forties because there is a lot of air going out and it goes in a strong way, it goes out in a strong way. And voiced consonants as B and the other ones are linis because there is less air going out and that air is a weak air. So there is a test that you can do to realize if a vowel is voiceless or voiced, fortis or lenis, you can try holding a piece of paper in front of your lips, and if the paper flaps for p, that is to say there is a movement, and it hardly moves for the other consonant, you realize that that consonant is fortis and the other one is lenis. For example, if you hold the paper in front of your mouth and you say p, you will see that the sheet of paper will move because the air goes out and it makes the paper move. If you produce b, you will see that the paper does not move so much. That is why less air is going out, and b, you can realize that b is a lenis consonant and voiced consonant. And a voiced consonant. Let's not confuse with the voiceless consonant. Okay, let's move on. So in your booklet, you have this activity in which you have to recognize some of the words that you have here. You have to recognize the consonants, the ones that are in the middle, in the sense between two vowels. You have to think if they are voiced or voiceless. There is a convention in which that you will find in which voiceless is represented by a minus and voice is represented by a plus. So if you have to think about a word as yellow, for example, yellow, with the sound, the phoneme and the sound l. This is, for example, a voiced sound. In the case of easy, even though it is an S that you have there in your spelling, that's why it says that you don't have to think about spelling, but you have to think about sound. In the case of easy, for example, the sound that you have here is a Z sound. So it's a voiced Z. Try to do it and touch your throat. In the case of essay, here that you have this sound, essay, the main sound is the S. And if you put if you place a paper in front of your mouth, you will see that it's a voiceless sound. There is a lot of air going out. In the case of ladder, this one, you will see that the sound, the phoneme here is d, ladder, d. If you touch your throat, you will see that it's a voiced. In the case of leisure, this becomes this sound. Let me see if I can. No. Oh my God. Let me see if I can do it here. Is this one? You'll find it in your chart. Leisure, pleasure, leisure. And this one is a voiced sound. Then you have the word funny, where the consonant, the main consonant is this one. Funny. So sound, it's a voiced. Even though the air goes out through your nose, there is vibration. Let's go with happy. This main sound is the p sound, and we said that p is a voiceless sound. Let's go with brother, the. Remember that brother has this sound, and d and the are not the same. You don't say brother, and you don't say ladder. You say ladder, and you say brother. So the, there is vibration, so this is a voiced sound. In the case of music, what happens with that sound? Music. Okay. Music, let me see if I can mark it. Music has the same thing as easy, so it has this sound. So it is a voiced. Music. It's not music, it's music. So then you have here in the middle another word which also can make you think or doubt. That's the word sugar. G. That sound is produced at the back of your mouth. G. And g sound is a voiced sound. Then you have the word present. Or, well, it depends, because it can be present or present. Depends. Remember that present is the noun and present is the verb. So depending on the type of word, you can have a stress change. So present or present, in the sense of present as a gift and present as a verb, the sound here is the same. It's the z sound. Okay? So it's a voiceless sound. don't know why I did that bar. Let me delete it so you cannot confuse. Then you have this sound, which is related to this consonant, that is trophy. Okay, so this is how you have to solve the activity that you have in your booklet. Please do it meanwhile you're watching the video, meanwhile you're working with this. Okay, so let's move on to this part in which the description of consonants is not only centered on the voicing part, that is whether it is voiceless or voiced, but it's also placed in their manner of articulation. So the manner of articulation is the way in which the consonants are produced, how they are produced, that is to say, in which way the vocal organs move. In this case, the vocal organs are, for example, lips, tongue, palate, and throat, how they move or how they interact in order to produce the articulation. For example, in a sound, in a consonant as p, there is a way in which the air goes out. How the air goes out is what we are going to take into account for the manner of articulation. And the place of articulation is where, in which part of the mouth the consonant is produced. Okay, is it produced at the front of your mouth, in the middle of your mouth, at the back? Yes. In which part of the vocal tract the consonants are produced? So this is a question of location of production. Is it produced with your teeth in the alveolar ridge, with your soft palate? Yes, there is a movement there. So that's the location of the consonant. Yes, a manner is the way in which the consonant is produced, how the organs move to produce that consonant. So, manner of articulation has, in a way, different type of interaction. So, according to the interaction, the way in which the vocal organs interact, you are going to find different characteristics. For example, plosive consonants, in which the manner of articulation is a plosive one. Plosive consonants is when you produce. I want you to think about the words so you can understand. When you produce a plosive consonant, the air pressure increases behind the closure of your lips, for example, or the tip of your tongue in the alveolar ridge, and then it's released as an explosion. So the air is stopped for a short period with your lips, tongue, or velum, and then it is called plosive because the air goes out as an explosion. For example, for the consonants p, b, t, d, k, g, you will see that the way in which the air goes out is an explosion. The difference between these, between these three pairs, the difference is where they are produced. For example, p and b, they are produced with both lips. So the air goes out with applausion, but p and b are the place of articulation are the lips. T and d, it has another explosion. You have there another explosion, but the explosion is produced in another place with the tip of your tongue or the blade of your tongue touching the alveolar ridge. And with k and g, the explosion is in the velum, it's at the back, but there is an explosion. So these consonants are plosive. Affricate consonants, in affricate consonants, the blade of the tongue is up. The air pressure increases and then is released as the plosive, but more slowly. Yes, it's released slowly. For example, for consonants as ch and j, ch and j are the only two affricate consonants. So mind you, it's not affricative, yes, it's affricate, because you confuse with the next one, which is fricative. Fricative occurs when two vocal organs come close together to produce a friction-like sound. So two organs come together and there is a friction there. The sound that is produced, it is the air that it is escaping through the gaps that you have in that friction. For example, in consonants as f and v, for example, you have your upper teeth and your upper teeth and your lower lip to produce f and v. So there you have a friction. The sound f and the sound v, it's the result of that interaction between upper teeth and lower lip. Then you have as in three, and the, z, there you have another friction. In these two, and your tongue is interacting with both of your teeth. Yes, the. You take out your tongue. Then you have s and z. The friction is in the hard palate. Sh and j and h. With this one, in hello, in hi, this one, the friction is at the back. It's the back of your tongue with your bilabi. Okay? So, when a consonant is nasal as a manner of articulation, it means that there is a closure in the mouth. There is a complete closure at the back of your mouth, and the air escapes through the nasal cavity. Those are for vowels, for consonants. I don't know why I have today vowels. Because I was watching a video about vowels that I have already, the second part I have already done in a previous class, but because I thought it was wrongly posted in YouTube, but because it has few views and it does not correspond with the first part. That's why I am thinking about vowels. Okay, so let's go back. The manner of articulation, nasal sounds they're produced with a complete closure in the mouth, and the air escapes through the nasal cavity. So the consonants here are and g. The closure is at the back for this one. Remember that this one is used, for example, in words with ing. Yes. Lateral consonants. Here there is an obstruction in the center of the oral cavity. The air flow is around the side of the mouth. Around the sides of the tongue. Tongue twister. So when you produce, this is the only consonant, lateral consonant. So when you produce l, the obstruction is in the center. You raise your tongue to the center of the mouth, and the air goes out through the sides. Try. Approximants, they are produced by proximity. I mean, two organs are near. There is a proximity between these two organs. They occur when one articulator moves close to another one, but not close enough to cause friction or to stop the airflow. So they are near, but there is the contact is not so strong, so they are approximants. So these are the consonants that are approximants. You have ra, wa, and ya. These are the two semivowels. Ra, wa, and ya. So for place of articulation, remember that we said that place of articulation is where the consonant is produced. We have seen, for example, that you have you can articulate a consonant with a plosive consonant as p, and p it's also a bilabial consonant, because as I have already said in the first part, the p and b, and also n in this case, p and b and m are produced with both of your lips. So you use the movement of both lips. Okay, p, b, m. Those are produced with in your lips, closing both of your lips. So p, it's a bilabial consonant and it's also a plosive. B is a bilabial consonant and it's also a plosive. And m is a bilabial consonant, but it's nasal. We have already discussed in the previous slide. Labiodental consonant. It's when you use your lower lip and your upper teeth. So the only two labiodental consonants are f and v. So remember that we say that f and v are fricative sounds. Remember that we say that they are fricative because there is a friction to produce. But they are fricative sounds and they are also labiodental. Why? Because they are produced with your lower lip and your upper teeth in contact. The two organs that are attached are your lower lip and your upper teeth. Then you have dental sounds. Dental sounds. Here, the tip of the tongue is used either between the teeth or close to the upper teeth. So the tip of the tongue is between the teeth or close to the upper teeth. So you produce sounds as and the. So these are the only ones that are dental. Why? Because you use your tongue in touch with your teeth. So remember that and the are also, in the sense of manner of articulation, they are fricatives because there is a friction of your tongue with your teeth. So and the are fricative sounds and dental sounds. So alveolar, in the case of alveolar, as you can predict, the blade of the tongue and the alveolar ridge are in contact. So you produce the sounds, the consonants t, d, s, z, these ones, by using your tongue at the you place your tongue in your alveolar ridge. Remember the alveolar ridge is that surface that is behind the upper teeth that has ridges. So, for example, you have t and d. So t is alveolar because you move. And in the production, the place is alveolar because your tongue is touching your alveolar ridge to produce t. And the way in which it is produced is explosive because there is explosion when you release the tongue and the alveolar. T, d. So t and d are alveolar sounds, are alveolar consonants, but also plosive ones. S and z are fricative sounds and also alveolar. M is a nasal sound and alveolar, and l is a lateral sound and alveolar. Okay? Let's go on. Well, the place of articulation in the case of palato-alveolar, here the blade or tip of the tongue is used just behind the alveolar ridge. So for the alveolar one, the previous one, you have to place your tongue, the tip of your tongue, blade of your tongue, in your alveolar ridge. But in this case, it's a little bit to the back, okay? And you produce the sounds ch, j, sh, j, and ra, okay? Ch, j, sh, j, and ra. For example, the sound ch. In this case, it's an affricate sound, remember? That's the way in which the air goes out. And the place of articulation is palato-alveolar. So it's affricate and palato-alveolar. Well, palatal place of articulation is the front of the tongue is raised close to the tongue. So you go a little bit to the back. You say yeah, yeah. The front of the tongue is touching your hard palate. In the case of velar sounds, the back of the tongue is used against the soft palate. G, g, k, k, wa, wa, wa. Mind you to tell you also that apart from being velar, there is a discussion between the manner of articulation of the wa sound. Some of the authors consider wa as a bilabial sound, and some consider as an some consider as a bilabial sound, and some others consider as a velar sound. Why? Because when you produce wa, the air is also released behind your lips. So you will find that some authors say that the wa sound, this semivowel, is a velar approximant sound, and others would say that it's a bilabial approximant sound. So that depends. You should use the three things. You should say that they are velar or bilabial, but they are approximate in the sense of the consonant wa. The glottal is produced. The glottal consonant, the place that it is produced is in the epiglottis. So there is a gap between the vocal cords, and that gap is used to make the friction. The only glottal sound that you have is the h sound. Okay, h sound. So, to clarify all this information, you describe consonants using or based on their voicing. Yes, you describe consonants by their voicing. You describe the sound based on the place of articulation and based on the manner of articulation. So when you describe a consonant, you have to describe it in this way. For example, b is a voiced consonant. Remember that there is a vibration of the vocal cords. So b is a voiced consonant, and it's bilabial and a plosive sound. So v is a voiced bilabial plosive sound. So here you have the voicing characteristic, here you have the place of articulation, and here you have the manner of articulation. The order, I don't care. It's the order of these two. But this one is always at the beginning. Because, why? Because some sounds share the same place and manner. So the only distinction is the voicing. So voicing is always first, and this one can be here, bilabial could be here or in the third place. It's the same. So here you have a description. We said that b is a voiced bilabial plosive sound, and the counterpart, p, is a voiceless. You see, here is the difference. They have the same place and manner of articulation, but the difference between both sounds is the voicing. B is voiced and p is voiceless. The same happens with f and v. F is a voiceless sound. It's labiodental and it's fricative. V, it's also labiodental and fricative, but the difference between these two set of consonants is that v is voiced and f is voiceless. So how you describe? Well, here you have the description. T is a voiceless consonant, it's an alveolar consonant, and it is plosive. These are the three characteristics that you have to systematize. So my tip here is that you create this for each of the consonants. Create this for each of the consonants. Do it in your folders. Yes, create a chart or this. This will be very useful for you to study. You will see. Okay. So this is how you're going to start transcribing. Now that you know the consonants and you know the vowels, you're going to start transcribing. So, for example, with the consonant P, which is this is the symbol, pen is transcribed in this way. And the minimal pair B, P, and B are minimal pairs. So you have bad, bad. This is how you transcribe. Bad, T. This word is transcribed like this. T, T. So now I would like you to repeat after me this question of understanding where and in which way we produce and with which voicing we produce the consonants. So we're going to say the consonant and the transcription. So D, did, D, did. So you see there is a difference between the normal spelling and the sound here. It's not the same E. D, did. K, cat, cat, K, cat. You'll see that this is a letter. This is not a sound, so you cannot transcribe. Never in the life. Never, 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 because I will kill you. I will kill you, surely. That you have to remember that K is represented by this sound. This is not a sound. This is not a symbol, okay? This is a letter. So K, cat. G, got, got. You see the difference between the short O? G, got. Ch, ch, chin, chin. J, June. Miren cómo se dice el mes, the month. June, June. You're going to teach the months of the year. When you start studying English, you usually start with substitutions in many schools. So one of the things that you teach at the very beginning of your studies, at the very beginning of your student studies, is they are the months of the year. So June, fall, fall. You see this along O. Fall. V, van. Thin. The, then. S, so. Z, zoo. Sh, she. J, vision, vision. How, no how. Man. No, sing, leg. Red. Yeah, yes. Not just, yes. Wet. Okay? Those are the pronunciation of consonants, and these are the phonetic transcription. Okay, so homework. This is the last part. So, you are going to send a picture with the answers to the activities 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7 from your symbols and terminology, the chapter that you have to read for today, because this week up to next week, we are going only to work with the activities. You're not going to read theory, just activities. So send a picture of those activities in your chapter. To do the activities, you have to read the chapter. So if you haven't read, it's a problem. But if you have read, you're going to solve it. So then let's practice some pronunciation. So the idea is to download from the Unit 2, where you have all the materials in Facebook, Unit 2, Consonants, English Pronunciation in Use, and you will see that the first unit is called Backpack. And here you will work with the difference between B and P. So you have backpack. You have to read the theory and do the activity, do all the activities. You are going to see that 3.4, that is the last activity, would require a recording, will require an audio, and I will send the audio, will post the audio, so you can solve it. But you don't have to send them. Don't send them yet. We're going to focus on the written activities later. But yes, you have to send the recording of yourself reading all these paper, all this part of the paper. So you're going to do this. You're going to read first. You're going to say the first one, please, because this is the order that the order should have. So you're going to say target B, and you're going to read vest. This is a B sound here. You will produce it with your upper teeth friction in with your lower lip. So you say vest, vest, and here there is an explosion, and you are going to use both your lips. Vest, vest, vest. I should notice a difference between vest, vest, vest. Caps, caps, caps. Covered, covered. Ska. Covered, cupboard, 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 covered, cupboard, covered. And then you have to read these words. So I say target, target bird, and you read this one. Then you're going to say the words. Buy, bird, bread. You don't say bread, bread, or bird, or buy. It's buy, bird, bread, rub, about, able, job, web, globe. Okay? And then you say this tongue twister. Bernie brought a big breakfast back to bed. Brought is not bought. Bernie brought a big breakfast back to bed. Okay? You read it once. And fast. And then you go with the P sound. Target P. Full, pool, full. Caps, caps, caps. Coffee, copy, coffee. And you read the words. Park, please, price. P, 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 P. You don't say park, please, price. No, it's park. Park, please, price. Yes? Open, apple, spring. Tape, help, jump. And then you read this one. Pat put purple paint in the pool. Sorry, it's so small that I cannot read. Pat put purple paint in the pool. Pat, 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 like that, okay? And that is the only thing that you're going to record and send. Then you have to send a picture of this, okay? The activities will be corrected. These activities will be corrected later on. Well, that's all for today. I hope you are fine, and let's see you soon. Sorry the length of this video, but it's an important topic. Well, bye-bye.